What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your, oh my gosh, volume. How funny. I wanted to pull up the chat and got volume in there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of February 7th through the 13th of 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Well, I appreciate you all so much. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope that you're ready for this week. Just want to make sure the chat's good. It's good. I can monitor. I got this kind of dialed in. So new setup, new streaming software. Pretty excited. Gosh, there's a lot of excitement, I think, that can be in the air. We're starting a lot of new things off. There's a lot of new cycles beginning. We just had Sun-Saturn last week. So now we're kind of ready to move forward. And we have all planets direct. It is February now, and there's so much forward movement. This is the first week with all planets direct. So it's pretty cool. Like when it comes to projects in life and getting things done for what you really want, couldn't be a better time to get things started, get the ball rolling. Maybe we're already just feeling like there's a lot to push for. There's a lot to go after right now. And I think that's a very positive thing. Another thing I want to touch on for this week is just the Jupiter that we have in Pisces. Very strong in Pisces. It's going to finish off the week in that second decan of Pisces. So it's going to come to 10 degrees by Sunday. Starts off the week at 8. So Jupiter's hauling. Jupiter's going to rip through Pisces over these next few, next couple months here. And this brings up 1856. There's a lot of division. But there's also something about our consciousness and how we have been spiraling up, and a lot of the things that has taken place have actually brought, in some ways, people closer together. Now, I know that, there's a lot of division, and Pisces brings up that division, like I mentioned, if I did or not. But Pisces is dualistic. We live in a dualistic universe, right? So every sort of aspect is, there's a dual nature. There's an opposite to everything, right? So instead of getting so caught up in the opposites or focusing on the opposites, because that's going to be our lesson too with the South Node in Scorpio, is to stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and figuring out what everybody else's feelings and psychology is on the matter and attaching ourselves to a lot of the BS in the world. There is so much beauty in the world too, and there's so much unity. So that's another thing that Pisces can bring up as that universal sort of, aspect of Pisces in the universe here, and like, this is way beyond our comprehension of our consciousness and where it's going. So I want to talk about Jupiter because it's getting really good aspects right now. It's getting aspected very well by Mars. Mars is just coming off the sextile from Capricorn. Venus is in orb to that sextile, but it's also approaching into next week the sextile with Uranus. And of course, Mars and Uranus are going to trine. Venus and Uranus have been in trine for a long time. So there is this sextile triangle to this Jupiter and Pisces. Now, Jupiter's been through so much. So like when we look back since 2020, we've dealt with Jupiter in fall in Capricorn with a South Node. And then Jupiter leaves Capricorn, but the South Node went into Sagittarius for 18 months. So we've just been in between fall Jupiter and the illusion of hope and belief and the illusion of knowing things. Now we're kind of stepping into where we can really have that faith and really believe in things. So there's a lot opening up, and especially with the aspects to Uranus, these are things that are exciting. These are electric things, but they're physical too with the Uranus in Taurus and that North Node in Taurus. There are physical things in life. This is a beautiful time to use the spirituality within us to make the physical more harmonious and beautiful. And I think that this is a good week to focus on that. Now, what I thought was super interesting is yesterday, which I'm doing this live on Sunday, I went to the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, and it was so much fun. It was so cool. And what I think was the coolest part about it was that it was in Los Angeles, which is pretty, there's a lot of mandates, a lot of restrictions going on, especially in that city, in the world, with everything the world's going through. And at that exposition, everybody was like a spiritual person. with spiritual things, connecting to the universe in all these different ways and modalities, whether it's crystals to sound healing to massage to yoga to this, that, you'd name it, it was there. Astrology, of course, was there. It was amazing. But it was like 90% no mask to 10% mask. And nobody cared if you were wearing one. Nobody cared if you didn't wear one. Like, everybody had a choice. And I think that was the most beautiful part of being in such a spiritual place like that. And that's where maybe I'm getting, like, that's the important shit to talk about right now with Jupiter and the aspects and the strong Pisces right now, is that there is no one way. There is no right or wrong, left or right. Like, there's just the oneness, while accepting that other people are doing things differently, especially in Aquarius season, because we're talking about people very heavily right now. That, like, the other aspect is how strong spirituality is and how it can transcend. So there's such a heaviness, even in a place in a city like that, that kind of, like, you can feel it when you're there, but when you walk into that place with all these people that are transcending that, but still living out their best sort of physical life, like, the vibe was so high, it was so powerful. So don't discount the power of your connectedness and your belief in something more and what that can bring into your physical world. And I think that's where this week is very powerful and prominent, is because, yes, there's a lot moving forward in Capricorn. Mercury's direct in Capricorn. It's going to meet with Pluto this week in Capricorn. Like, we know that there's deeper things out there. There's more, and that Mercury's going to trine the North Node. The North Node and Pluto are within a degree orb of their trine. Like, this is a very fated moment to make things happen from a very deep, like, soul, like it's mission stuff, which I talk about all the time. I channel that so much, especially in these times. There's a mission that's getting this, like, big activation, and there's dedications, and there is work that has to be done. But it's by believing that if you put the work in and you start the new projects, or you do something different, especially with the Uranus aspects, something different can take you so far right now. It'll blow your mind. So I want to encourage people this week to really do the things that excite them, whether they're different, whether they're unique or rebellious. It doesn't matter. As long as your heart feels very connected to it and it feels connected to your soul, start these projects, start these connections, start these groups, start these, whatever it is, because you just don't know what can come out of it yet. But you know that because of that strong spiritual presence, because of that strong connection, the universe is opening up doors in places maybe we've never expected. So it's something to be excited about, is there are these great doors that are opening up. It's wow. And I think that the Mars sextile Jupiter that we're still in, because Jupiter's a big planet. I give Jupiter, sometimes a 10-degree orb. In mundane astrology, I like to bring it tighter, but Mars is going to finish off the week at 14 degrees and meet with Venus, like, not the exact, but they're going to be pacing at the exact degree all the way through Capricorn from 14 to, I think, till 0 Aquarius when they meet exact, which is just, like, that's crazy. Just going to be honest, like, that's a long time for them to just pace each other. It's crazy. So we're in this buildup too of that, because if you think about Mars and Venus together, this is masculine and masculine and feminine together create life. So there is this physical life and this, stepping up to the plate, because Capricorn is definitely like step up to the plate and handle it. And coming off of Sun Saturn, like, there are aspects in our life that we know we got to step up to if we want to create. And we're creating for the long term. We're creating, like, real physical, dense, solid aspects in our life. And I do think that the connections with people are so important, as we did have a Sun Saturn meet in Aquarius again, and Sun's still in Aquarius, and Venus and Mars are going to conjunct in Aquarius. The people and the connection are so important right now. We don't want to obsess over other people with a South Node in Scorpio, but that doesn't mean that we can't use a South Node in Scorpio to see, like, what the universe is bringing into our life, so that we can push to expand past so many areas of life that feel just so restricted or so just, this is too heavy. So this is a great week to start the things that you want to do. I mean, we're in February. We did just have a Chinese Lunar New Year. It is the water tiger, right? So there's something about like stalking out the life we want and then attacking with like precision and power. And I think that that's, what it's all about. And we also have to have very strong, minds right now as Mercury's with Pluto. We got to be very intense and direct with our thought and make sure that we're putting our linear thought into where our intuitive belief systems lie about the, extreme potential for these outcomes. So I think that if you're telling yourself any story right now that involves like, that's not possible, that's not going to work, I know it takes this long to do this, I know this, I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're already limiting your beliefs. And this is a time to open your beliefs up full bore, like wide open. Let the floodgates just of all that power to feel that. And even with a moon this week, right, we do get, of course, the first quarter square of this Aquarius lunation from Taurus, but it starts the week off in Taurus and it finishes the week in Cancer. So we get an exalted moon to start the week and we finish with a dignified moon. And when we think about the moon, or when I think about the moon too, like emotion, and even having Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer, there's something about emotion and belief that is so tied together, because if you believe so heavily and you put that emotional intent and that forward power in, especially when it comes to your values and your competence within yourself to know you got it, so this great capacity to create life, because that's what Taurus is too. This is creating a life that's comfortable, that you really want. And if you feel into that and you're intense there and you're just in it, I totally believe right now that the universe is going to open doors one way or another. Maybe they're not what you were expecting, but it's not about expecting just a perfect outcome, I would say. Like, that's very Virgo, kind of like, I want this to be perfect. This is Pisces. This is like just a huge belief and an emotion to get there, but to maybe see where the finish line could be, but to not plan out exactly what it looks like to get to the finish line. I was just talking with Erica the other day, and we were talking about like free will and how there's like, we were thinking like, yeah, there's like checkpoints in life that are going to happen no matter what. And we have free will and we kind of splice off different ways depending on our choices. But at certain moments in life, there's these fated moments that are just predetermined and very predestined that come back to that just straight stream of what your destiny is. So in many ways, I think, yeah, we could have taken so many different paths up until now and tried out so many different things. And sure, we learn from those and we see what doesn't work and what does work. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't like another choice that we just didn't have the comprehension of before that would have maybe been a better path. So I think we're finding a better path by really feeling into this destined moment of creation. Because with the North Node in Taurus and Venus dispositing that and being with Mars, and Mars coming off a trine to Uranus this week, starting off the week with a trine to Uranus, coming off the sextile to Jupiter, luck is on your side if you're willing to innovate your life in a physical way. So you're using great genius and you're using the connections to people and you're using all the tools that you have, but really channeling it towards this great, expansive, beautiful, creative potential. And I think that, gosh, I love that for this week. I think, even getting the moon as we start off Monday with Uranus, and it will also sextile Jupiter, and it will square, of course, Saturn in that evening. But and then the next day, and then Tuesday we get that first quarter square with the sun in Aquarius. Like, this is about the kind of forcing out of like seeing the connection in life and seeing the value and seeing the great potential and seeing what is going to feel really good, and then putting your emotion and your belief into that intent so that Uranus can take you higher. You know, if there's one thing Uranus is going to do, it's going to make changes. But these changes are always to get you farther, whether you want to change to go farther, to go higher or not. You know, Uranus is going to be there to make that happen. So, you know, if you're feeling like I'm ready, this is a time to realize that you are ready, and you're ready for a great reason, because you can alter, you know, the course of your life in really expedited ways right now. So don't limit yourself this week. You know, there's so much Capricorn in the chart that we can have the limiters on a little bit. You know, we can kind of be feeling the weight of so many of things from the past. There can be a guilt almost of like, oh, well, I didn't position myself right before, and I want to make sure I do it right this time. And, you know, even just having that in the back of your mind, to me, is like this limiting belief. Like, we got to wipe the slate clean and just start pushing so that we can do something great. And this is where I think people show up. Like, people are showing up right now for a very magical, divine purpose to get you farther, to make your life better, to make life happier. And this is the flip side of that, is if you're around people that are doing just the opposite, whether they're controlling or manipulating or kind of sucking your energy with that South Node in Scorpio, you know, or controlling, it's like you know that ain't it. And that's where we can have to have these deep understandings with this Mercury-Pluto conjunction and like really be like, is this really going to get me farther in life? This group, these friends, this relationship? Because there's a passion in the air to have better, that's for sure. Especially with Mars and Venus coming together and going to pace through Capricorn. Mars and Venus together is passionate. You know, especially romantic, you know, passion. So we can all be feeling, even coming into this week or right now, that, you know, we want more passion in our life. We want more stimulation with the people we feel connected to on a very deep soul level that is also, you know, kind of in their sovereignty and like their creative ability, so that we don't have to like drag people along up this mountain of Capricorn that we're still in. Because it's not that it's bad to like drag someone and help people out, but, you know, at a certain point, it gets real steep. Like, how much of your energy do you have to pull people along if you're not getting like the beauty from it and like the really good emotion and the really good feeling of the matter? And then, of course, that moon midweek comes into Gemini, and I think this week brings up a lot of our mind, especially in Aquarius season, and with a Pluto Mercury conjunction. It'll quincunx that moon, but the moon will trine Saturn, it'll trine the sun, it will square Jupiter and Neptune. So midweek is a little rocky. I feel like it kind of starts off, Monday starts off pretty good, and then like midweek we start to question ourselves. We start to almost doubt, like, is this actually going to make sense? I don't know. It kind of feels like it could make sense. It kind of feels like it could be great. Is this a dream? And I would say that actually, yes, this is a dream, and you're very lucid in the dream. So why not use this lucid dream that we're living and make shifts? Like, I don't know if you guys have ever dreamt and like had that moment where you realize you're in the dream, but you don't wake up, and then you do something super magical to get yourself out of a bad situation. I do this often. Maybe you do too. It's like that. Like, we're in those kind of situations, but not while we're sleeping, but while we're very awake and alive and, you know, lucid. And I would say very awake. I think people are so awake right now. Like, so using that to get yourself positioned better, because there is something about really realizing your position in life right now. And if it's thebomb.com or if it's not thebomb.com. And we can all make little tweaks and changes to get thebomb.com. So the things can explode. There's an explosion of really powerful energy that I think is really kicking off this week. We do not want to miss this opportunity. Don't stay in situations that are not the bomb, and don't question what your creative potential to create the bomb.com would be, because a radical shift in one little area of life could take you to the most amazing place you've ever been to, with the most amazing people, with the most amazing lover, with the most amazing relationship, whatever it is. Like, little tweaks is what the universe is asking for to get the best. As we build towards this year with the North Node Uranus, like, the people are getting a whole value check on what the best is, and we're going to be able to make crazy shifts to do that. Now, on the world scale, who knows what shows up in life this year to South Node Scorpio us into, because right, that's going to be, Uranus opposite the South Node. It's like things have to go and deteriorate and die away so that new things can take life. And that's where we're at right now. There's new things that we want to take life and get into. And I think Jupiter coming into that middle decan, that second decan of Pisces, is taking us to another level of our belief and our compassion to connect with people and to kind of transcend like a lot of the Capricorn stuff, right? Because Capricorn's government, like, and think about with Pluto and Jupiter and Pluto Saturn and all those Capricorn cycles in 2020 with politics, and how politics became like the number one thing everybody was focused on in the world, well, especially in the United States, but everywhere politics was a huge deal, and it was so divided. So this is kind of a beautiful time to let bygones be bygones, so that we can kind of get back onto a similar page of compassion and love for one another, because it is Aquarius season and it's such a powerful time for the people. So let's shift some beliefs. Let's go into, using connection and using our ability to do things with others to create a life that is much more substantial, much more amazing, and more comfortable and stable in an unstable reality. But you create the stability within your reality. So you have to figure out this week, I think, what you're starting and where life is stable, where it's not stable, and why it's not stable. And if it's not stable, will one little tweak be the key to get you out of it? Without double checking and questioning yourself. It's not time to question yourself anymore. We've done enough questioning. This is a time to really trust your instincts. Trust your senses, trust your emotions to take you where you need to go, but take that and put it into the physical of life. What else do I want to talk about? I was going to pull up the chart for a second and go through that. I feel like there was something else I wanted to touch on. Maybe I'll realize it when I get the chart up. We got some people in the chat. Thank you guys for joining. Nice to see you all. Hope you enjoy. All right, we'll pull up the chat and, or not the chat, we'll pull up the chart. And jump into this bad boy. There was something about, it was a lot of the questioning, and I think that's where this Gemini moon, and it's so funny, this chart happens to be on Thursday. It has the moon in Gemini, trine Saturn, it's going to trine the sun, but it's going to square off with Jupiter, square off with Neptune, and, eventually it's going to quincunx not only the nodes, but it's going to quincunx all the Capricorn shit. This is like questioning your greatest achievements and that great imagination and double, like, second guessing. Like, we can second guess ourselves, but I think that's where we come into the weekend and we get that moon in Cancer, and that moon in Cancer is going to oppose all the Capricorn and quincunx the sun, quincunx Saturn before the full moon, but it does make great aspects to, of course, the nodes, Uranus and Jupiter and Neptune. So we're in quite this interesting place of like holding a lot and focusing on so much of the world, but not trusting our emotions. We really want to find this balance. I think that that's where the key is this week, especially as Mars comes off the square to Chiron and the moon will square Chiron. Um, like, don't don't discount your power right now, you know, to find the right type of balance and to use your great imagination and your great beliefs to pivot and to make changes so that you can have the best. So, yeah, we've done a lot of pivoting and changing already, and now is really to use that truth and to like grab on to the things that actually have value within that truth and to really let go and let the old stuff go away. And I know that might sound harsh. I don't want, it to sound harsh, but like some things just gotta go so that you can move higher in life. What is another beautiful thing that just jumped into my head is I've been channeling Poseidon a lot lately, which is a trans-Neptunian planet. And it's in Scorpio at 15 degrees. So Saturn just squared Poseidon. We're going to have Uranus oppose Poseidon. And what we're also going to have is Jupiter trine Poseidon. So Poseidon, of course, has that Neptunian kind of energy, but it is also, it deals heavily with like our enlightenment. So there's kind of a force here of our enlightenment kind of taking on new I would say like more Scorpio boundaries. Like this is not helping me spiritually. So I need to make a change with the people to get the better, deeper soul connections. And I think that's where it can be hard is because it's very clear if you're getting that soul connection or not. And then it's hard because we can want to hold on to what the past was. So I do think that brings up people, whether it's, love or romance or friends or whatever it is that we kind of attach ourselves to. I feel like even with all the Capricorn, this can deal with jobs too. What's holding back our great spiritual connection and, using this lucid dream of reality to transcend and to find balance between our own emotions, what other people are have feeling, and what the world's going through, and how to kind of just really worry about our own self. and if we're worrying about ourselves and not too much of the world or too much of other people, we're actually going to might meet people just naturally because these great Uranus aspects right now it's trying to bring really amazing people into your life. Believe it or not, like people are going to be the greatest gift in the world right now. It's not about an obsession, but it's about the harmony between groups that want to go to a better place and build a better life. We can't do this all on our own. As we're on this cusp here of Pisces into Aquarius, we have to realize that to use this great enlightenment within us, which enlightenment's, whatever, it's a lifelong journey, and it's something that I think doesn't, it can have like a stereotype too of what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is just like you being in bliss with creation and laughing and having fun and enjoying life, right? So that's enlightenment to me. I'm sure, to other people it can mean many other things. But whatever your subjective enlightenment is, to make sure that you're around other people that enlighten your life, that help you see more light, that help you build more, that help you create more, that help you bring out your uniqueness more, so that you can be more rooted in yourself. And that rootedness will help you to start the things that are going to make life better right here, right now. So I think that there's a lot to look forward to there. But it's also a big, this weekend's going to be a pretty big check, I think, when it comes to so much of our own emotions, and if we're willing to take responsibility, both physically and emotionally, for everything that we are feeling and have been feeling. This moon in Cancer, gosh, we haven't had a moon in Cancer for a really long time that didn't just go through it. Like for the last few years, it was dealing with Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter and the nodes, and had a north node in Cancer in, 2019, 2020. Like it just I can't get a break, and it squares Uranus every time. And I will note that even just Pluto, the polarity of Pluto is Cancer. So as a collective, as we are in this restructuring of a lot of societies, ways and what, I guess what the cultural norms are for each and every, sublet of people, because it's different for every culture and every place that you're in, right? But there's something about there's just changes taking place in the systems that we all knew about. But to instead of getting lost in the change of structure and letting that kind of consume you or get consumed by governments or politics, it's like that polarity of Cancer where the moon's been getting hammered is to really get back to your emotional foundation and responsibility and do a life that is comfortable to you. So I think emotion, intent is so important right now to create better. And I'm not talking like build back better. Like, and I'm not talking about the Great Reset either, but there's something about as individuals, we need to like create our own reset, not the one they're proposing, but a better reset for humanity that's more along the lines of what's actually better for the people and not some crazy agenda. And then and then actually, do it better. I think we're all at a place where we can do life better. So we have to, really believe that too. The more we take power back into our own hands to create a life that we ultimately want, whatever that is for you, because again, I think that there's an infinite number of ways to live life, and I don't think it really matters. I think we just got to figure out a way to do it together. Go away. Why is there two of me? I'm getting used to this software. It's all hotkeys. So I know what that button is too. I just forgot because I'm doing this. I like this software a lot though. Um, anyways, I think that's going to be pretty much my weekly chat. I hope that it was inspiring in some ways. I like this astrology a lot, and I don't want people to doubt themselves or to guilt themselves, because if there was ever a time to make life great, it's a North Node in Taurus. I mean, this is the best of the best, and it has to involve the connections to people, the connections to yourself, the connections to something bigger. And it's like that's kind of the Trinity right now. Of course, the Trinity would be more mind, body, soul. We should all be kind of locking that Trinity down within us. But when it comes to a more physical, 3D, it really is like yourself, the people you're around, and the belief structure that you all have together to create really amazing ways forward. Because it's the different ways that are actually going to be the most valuable. And in the midst of such a divided realm that we live in, we can get sucked into so many different avenues of division, and compassion is going to be something that takes us so far right now. So just compassion for how anybody's living their life, and instead of obsessing over how someone else is living their life, whether you're obsessing over if you want that life or if you're obsessing over why the fuck do they live that life, like who cares? They're living that life. Do you know what I'm saying? The more we get into that place as a collective and, start to go into those areas, I think we find something beautiful. So we're right there. And I know all you guys watching this are like on it. So we're getting there. We got a lot to look forward to. February is going to be a big time building month, and even March. And as we come into March, I think it's March 2nd, we get the new moon in Pisces. It's beautiful. It's really a beautiful time here. So don't hold yourself back right now. This is a time to, unleash every bit of your potential that you got. Stop for any minute or any second of any day questioning what you can do. Just try it, Just try something that you're feeling. Make a move, make a call, and don't put any expectation to it other than the belief that it's right to you. And watch what happens and see. How you guys doing in the chat? I appreciate you all. Every one of you. Some of y'all sacral chakras are lit. That's real vicious. That's my boy right there. I love that guy. I love you all. I do. Well, what up, Mark? Nice to see you, brother. Gosh, you've been with me for so long, Mark. I want to give a lot of love to you. I know sometimes you don't always comment, but I know I feel you. You're watching. You're here with me. Thank you, bro. Jolene. Yeah. Angie. Appreciate you all. Thank you everybody that joined here from High Vibe too. And thanks for all the love from Full Disclosure. The last 2 weeks when we were filling in for David, everybody, was really, there were some really nice comments in High Vibe about people really enjoying those talks. So super grateful just to be a part of that show. Like that was kind of a dream come true in a way. Definitely one of those manifestations like 2 years ago was like, I want to be on Full Disclosure someday. Now I always kind of envisioned it. Here's a good example. I had like a little dream or a little like manifestation that I wanted to be on Full Disclosure. Of course, I envisioned it being with David, right? Like, I'll do Full Disclosure with David. No, my first time on Full Disclosure was just to fill in a show for David while he was gone, right? So it was still a dream come true. I had so much fun, and the connection is amazing, but it wasn't like necessarily the outcome, but it was still the same destination point, right? So I think that that's a good analogy for where we're at right now is we don't know exactly what the finish line is going to look like, but it's just like we can have enough of the idea of what we want to go after it. Maybe it shows up a little different. Maybe it shows up exactly the same, but it's a powerful time to use that vision to get you to what that vision was. That's what I believe. So, well, I guess I'm going to bail out of here and record the weekly tarot and Monday's horoscope. I hope this was good. Definitely didn't pull up any crazy stuff like I did last week. I know a lot of people liked that I brought up Canada's chart. I've been very disconnected ever since that from like the news and from what's like there's a lot going on in that, and like I'll catch little things here and there, but I don't know. To me, I just feel more connected to like building a life that I want to live and doing the things that bring me fulfillment and the work that I want to do and the mission. I don't necessarily feel like my mission is to pay too much attention to what that's going through or to give advice for how that goes. Like to me, the world's gonna world. That's so out of our control. And that's another thing too with the South Node in Scorpio is there's gonna be so many things that show up that are out of our control with a South Node Scorpio from different powers, especially Pluto finishing up here in Capricorn, governments. There's definitely a lot of war talk going on. Yeah, all right. Like I think we need to position ourselves well in life, but I think the positions are with people. And the position is within yourself. So as long as you feel secure in yourself, you're going to position yourself well with the right people and the right connections to get through whatever out of our control happens in life, because that's life. We don't have that much control, right? We have control over our damn self. Everything else. So we got to find beauty and bliss and comfort right now in a world that is pretty much on the brink of like change. I was going to say falling apart, but I don't believe it is falling apart. I think that we're actually coming into amazing times. You know, when I get out and connect with people, like I'm seeing people so happy to be alive right now. So it's a blessed time. I think we can all feel that it's a blessed time. Don't don't let the bullshit in the world take you out of a sense of bliss and empowerment, no matter what happens. And I know that, depending on where you're at in the world, different things can be affecting more than others. So, to each to each their own. Wherever we're at, we have to figure it out. And so it's just not nothing's one size fits all. So when I do these horoscopes, don't think that it's one size fits all. Like, take what resonates and use it for what feels right in your life, not just like one thing that I said, right? Because this is collective. This is for us all. This is just a way to, use energies that are just present to go farther and to transcend a lot of the things that hold us back. So I hope that that's helpful. And yeah, I love you all very much. I'm gonna call this, and I'll see you for the dailies, and we'll definitely break these days down and hit them good. And I'll get that weekly tarot out for anybody. That'll be up later tonight for anybody that wants to watch. Sending you all my love and best. I feel an immense amount of gratitude and love right now, and I hope you do too. And I hope you use that to do something great for yourself, because that's what it's all about right now, is creation and building. So it's very physical. But are you going to really be able to create your physical dreams if you don't actually believe in them or feel them? So that's where this week's important. We have to have a good balance between our emotions and the physical world and those actual physical dedications and how these things actually make us feel. Are we ready to blow shit up? Or are we ready to blow shit up into a way that we could have never imagined? So depending on which side of that you're on, you could either be destroying things to build new things, or you have things that are going well and you feel very connected to that you're going to blow up even more, right? Expand. Like a hot air balloon. I love you all very much. Should I pull a tarot card? I guess I'll pull a tarot card. We'll use this badass deck. We'll use the badass tarot deck. It's like I want to go, but I don't want to go. It's kind of funny. I got 20 of you in here. That's pretty good. I'll take 20 on a live at, 9:45. All right, what's the badass tarot gotta say? Page of Pentacles. Yes. There's a lot to be excited about in this physical world. And I think a lot of our physical pursuits and a lot of our values, if we stay curious and open to what can come, there's a lot that can go out there. And, there's kind of like, I don't know, it reminds me, she's a little rebellious. Like, you got to be a little rebellious to get what you want right now, too. So I don't think it's about a very strict, super mature, right? Like, there's a maturity, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of Capricorn. There's Saturn aspects going on. It's mature, but it's like, it's also just making it, like, the curiosity to create. I think that's a good way to put it. The curiosity to create can bring a message that shows you a way that maybe you didn't think was possible. But this isn't a time to think things are impossible. The Knight of Wands in reverse. Oh my gosh. Well, we got to go somewhere. We got to move forward with some passion in life right now. So the things in life that aren't passionate, or that they feel like they're stalled out, or like we're moving too slow, we got to realize why. I think get to the bottom and ask the questions of what that is, so that we can move forward, with some fire behind us. There's no fire in the chart this week. The moon, it will not hit Leo. It's out of Aries. So literally no fire this week. Don't forget your fire and that great creative potential and what can come from that. And it's very ethereal. There's an ethereal energy to fire. So don't forget that ethereal fire to move forward. And maybe there are things that are trying to slow us down, but we gotta just be able to burn through those blocks to get to maybe what we really want. And the Ten of Swords in reverse. So it's not a time to think that we're just gonna get, beat down or shot at with arrows, little Cupid arrows. We need to, check in, I think, with the things that are completed. And I think that's more spiritually, and have an understanding of like, this was completed. Why am I still doing this? Because if you just know that something has run its course and you keep pursuing it, it might just drag you down more and more. It could be mentally or emotionally, I feel like here. So this is where it's like you got to know how to start over if you need to start over. It kind of brings up the reset thing that I mentioned. And the overall Page of Swords upright. Yeah, it's time for the quickness. There's a lot of quick thoughts. There's a lot of insights coming. There's a lot of deep thoughts coming. But this is like the message. Like, these are the messages that you needed right now, and you just want to be open to them, and you want to deliver them too. If you're a message, if you're here to deliver a message, this is the time where I think you need to really value that message and put it out there. Put your channel out there, put your insights out there, because that's going to connect you more. So there's a lot of connection this week that I think is bringing us closer together with the people that are really like soul tribe and here to innovate and, look out for each other or peep on each other. Don't go peeping on everybody with a South Node in Scorpio. This is not good peeping Tom times. Don't go stalk your ex right now. I love you all very much. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you for all the other shows. Much love. Peace.